Hello and welcome to another informative Connectionology webinar. Thank you so much for joining us today. Your host, as always, Executive Director of Connectionology, Ginger Jarek.
Hi, everybody. Good afternoon and welcome. We are so happy to have you today. I am thrilled because we have Betsy back, Nekeisha, and Doug, and it's just so wonderful to have the group back. This is going to be an amazing Paralegal Laboratory. And we have a little guest with us today, Mr. Coconut. He'd like to say hello. And anyway, you guys, if you have questions, we want to make sure that you write those in the Q&A box down at the bottom of your screen, and we're going to ask those towards the end of the webinar. That way we'll give everybody time to get through the presentation, but I cannot wait to hear all of your questions. We definitely want this to be interactive, and that way you can hear and get all your, not only your questions answered at the end, but we also want to hear your feedback as well. So let's get started, and later on this webinar, you're also going to meet our 4 incredible partners with HMR, Fast Funds, Strategic, and OnPoint, and we cannot thank them enough. With their amazing support, we're able to continue doing all of these great webinars for all of you, and we're so appreciative of them. But before we start, I'd like to introduce you to a very special moderator and a great trial lawyer. His name is Doug Beam, and as you know, he is no stranger to the underdog. He's been a trial lawyer since 1985, and he has the reputation as the lawyer's lawyer. So that means that he's been trying and winning the unwinnable, and he has a huge passion for the courtroom. Doug has handled thousands of cases, taken on hundreds to trial, and he's also scored some of the largest verdicts in Florida's history. He's also the past president of the Florida Council of Bar Association Presidents, and he's also the very first recipient of the Brevard County Bar Association Professionalism Award. He also serves on the executive committee of the National Trial Lawyers as well. In addition to that, during his free time, Doug loves spending time with his family, and he's very active in his church. So, Doug, it is an honor to have you, and we are excited to hear today's discussion.
Thanks, Ginger. You're always generous with your introduction. Coast to coast, Connectionology today, and we have a great program for you today. We're all gearing up. We're getting our cases now set for trial throughout the country, even with the COVID-19 variant out there. We're making progress in terms of trying to move our cases along. And today, to help us with that, we have 2 extraordinary speakers. In fact, they're so extraordinary, they couldn't get through all their material, and we had a huge number of participants, and we had to say, will you 2 come back? I mean, it's this good. This is platinum material. This is something you're not going to be able to go online unless you come here to Connectionology to hear them and get this. This is stuff that's on the street. I mean, this is real stuff. This is stuff you don't get from books and you don't get on YouTube. This is the real deal. And you're getting it from 2 very experienced paralegals. Although they may appear to be quite youthful in appearance, they're both grizzled veterans. So let's talk about Nekeisha Vaughan. Nekeisha is with Caputo Mariotti Law Offices in Moosic, Pennsylvania, the Keystone State. Even though, again, quite youthful in appearance, she has over 2 decades of experience, both in New York and Pennsylvania, helping clients, and let's be real, helping lawyers. Without paralegals, paralegals make us look great. And these are the unsung heroes in our business, paralegals. So I'm glad so many of you are here today. I'm already seeing people logging in from all over the country. And if you would, along the way, if you could just list, shoot us an email, tell us where you're from. Maybe we can give you a shout out. We want you to give our questions and comments. We're probably going to collect most of them and reserve some time at the end to allow Betsy and Nekeisha to get through their program. But Nekeisha is, she does it from soup to nuts for her law firm, from intake to conclusion. She gets them when they first come in. And, you know, if you don't sign the client, you don't have a case. You don't have anything to work on. So you got to close the deal and sign the client and then get busy working on the file. So that's what she does. I love the way she describes it. She helps people, injured people who oftentimes are unsure of how to protect themselves or navigate the legal process. And that's really what it's all about. So Nekeisha is a paralegal member of the Pennsylvania Association for Justice. She's been published. She has her paralegal studies degree from the Stenotype Academy in New York City. So we have someone who is highly accomplished, and we're going to learn from her today. I'm seeing people signing in. Betsy Rodriguez from Honolulu, aloha, I've been told to say. We have Daisy, Lord, people are, this thing's lighting up, Ginger. Let's see, we got people from all over the place. Hattiesburg, Mississippi. How about that? Cassie Cox, Danetta Motti from Columbus, Ohio. We have Rosie. Well, let's see, who is this? Rosie from, I'm trying to get her full name, but so many people are coming in, but from Charlotte, North Carolina. Rosie, and that's the Queen City. And it's great to see her there. Now we have Betsy Baggs, also from the Keystone State, Commonwealth of Pennsylvania, Kingston, Pennsylvania, O'Donnell Law Offices. And if you missed out on it last week, you missed a extraordinary lecture by Neil O'Donnell on deposition preparation, how to handle depositions. It was just extraordinary. And I think Betsy and Nekeisha were part of that. They watched it and did that. Now, Betsy has been a paralegal for 25 years, and specializing in helping people who are injured, personal injury work. She, like Nekeisha, has a paralegal studies degree. Hers is from Central Penn in Harrisburg, Pennsylvania, the state capital. And she received that. And interestingly, paralegals and lawyers, we need to be a part of the bigger community. And Betsy, this is very impressive. Betsy is a 2020 graduate of the Leadership Wilkes-Barre Core Program. She assists grandparents who are raising their grandchildren in northeastern Pennsylvania. What a wonderful thing to do. She's also a supporter of the Ukulele Kids Club project that provides music therapy to children in hospitals throughout the United States. So maybe, Betsy, you can get in touch with Betsy Rodriguez at Honolulu. They might know a thing or two in Hawaii about ukuleles. I don't know. But now we're going to, without further ado, because you came here to hear Betsy and Nekeisha, not me today, and they have really worked up a great program. So I'm turning it over to both of you, and I'll be available here. I'm going to constantly monitor the chat. So when y'all send things in, we'll hopefully El Paso, Texas, Dallas, Texas. We have Bay Springs, Mississippi, West Palm, Indianapolis, Circle City, Hot Springs, Arkansas. I bet it is hot in Hot Springs today. And we also have Grand Junction, Colorado. And wow, Seattle, Washington. How about that? Philadelphia. All right. People are coming from Athens, Georgia. How about that? University of Georgia, maybe some Bulldog fans there. Washington, D.C., the nation's capital. Wow, we have a huge crowd here from all over the country. All right, Betsy and Nekeisha, it's your show.
Good afternoon, everyone. Once again, Ginger, thank you so much for providing us with an additional opportunity to speak with our paralegal colleagues from across the globe. And Doug, thank you so much for the very warm welcome. So the last time Betsy and I had an opportunity to speak with you all, we discussed the paralegal's role in preparing the attorney for deposition, mediation, and arbitration. And today we're going to focus on the paralegal's role in preparing for and attending trial. So the first thing that the paralegal should do is when the attorney decides that the case is going to have to go into litigation, immediately the paralegal's mind should be geared toward trial and treating the file as if she or he is preparing the case for trial the moment that the complaint has been filed. So after the completion of discovery, the attorney would file a certification with the court, indicating that all discovery is complete and that the case is now prepared for trial. Thereafter, a trial scheduling order would be forwarded from the court, and the paralegal should review the trial scheduling order for appropriate deadlines that are coming, calendar all the dates, and inform the client of the trial date and other pre-trial conferences so that the client stays in the loop and is aware as to what's happening as the case progresses. So anyone who thinks that the attorney is the only one who endures stress during trial mode is highly mistaken. And as this anatomy of a paralegal shows, we too endure stress. You see it with our bags under our eyes, or our messy hair, or the food all over our clothes, the coffee breaks, the increased coffee breaks throughout the day. So it is a stressful time for both the paralegal and the attorney. But I have to say, I think the paralegals handle it a little bit better than the attorneys do. So this is an example of a trial order that we would receive in Pennsylvania. Having practiced in New York, I know that it may look slightly different. However, it encompasses all of the same details. So in this trial order, we see number one, the trial date in bold, indicating the date and the time of the trial. We see a subtitle for settlement conference, a section regarding discovery disputes, motions in limine and other pre-trial motions, documents to be provided to the court and all counsel of record, exhibit list, expert reports, points for charge and jury verdict interrogatories, video depositions or depositions to be read into the record, pre-marking of exhibits, final pre-trial conference of counsel, pre-trial procedures and jury trial procedures, and distribution. Trial brief, witness list. So as you can see, the pre-trial order is pretty comprehensive, covers everything that the paralegal and the attorney will need to do in order to prepare and get the file ready for that trial day. So identifying and organizing witnesses. I try to make it a practice to begin creating a witness list during the discovery phase of the case. As we get responses to our interrogatories and document requests, and I begin summarizing them, I pull the names from the defendant's answers. For example, names of employees who may have witnessed an accident, or eyewitnesses to other parts of the case. I start creating a witness list, and I create an expert witness list and a lay witness list. My expert list would have the name of the witness, the area of the expert's specialty, contact information for the expert, such as the address, the telephone number, email address, the expert's liaison. I would also specify if the expert will be used to prove the damages portion of the case or the liability portions of the case. With regard to my lay witness list, I'll simply just put the name of the witness along with his or her contact information, inclusive of their address, telephone number, email address, and emergency contact. I would also, just to add to that, I would also speak with the attorney about assisting and preparing the witness. We want to make sure that the expert witnesses have all documents that he or she will rely on for the trial. Ensure that all witnesses know their trial schedule, the date, time, and place of testimony. Ensure the lay witnesses have their statements and/or reports that will be relied upon on at trial. And I will also speak with the attorney in reference to scheduling prep sessions for the witnesses in advance of the trial. So here we have a sample witness list. In the column, you see the witness name, whether or not they're a plaintiff, on cross, damaged witness, their contact information, whether or not they were notified for trial, their availability for trial, whether or not the prep session has been scheduled or if it's not applicable, and just some notes for myself to guide me along as we prepare the case for trial. So again, with regard to preparing witnesses, I won't reiterate the few things that I said before, but with regard to expert depositions, medical expert depositions should be scheduled as soon as possible and conducted as close to the trial date your attorney feels is reasonable. We find that our experts, particularly if they are treating doctors, their schedules tend to fill up very, very, very quickly. So you want to make sure that you stay on top of that so you're able to get your experts deposition conducted in a reasonable amount of time. So here we are with some pre-trial tasks. Always, 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 always want to check the local rules for trial. You want to speak with your attorney about requesting a settlement conference if not already mandated by the court. You want to review the file to ensure that there are not any unresolved discovery disputes. You want to review the file to ensure all liens are up to date. You never want to find yourself in a situation where a case was settled and you didn't have the proper lien amount. That could present a huge problem, particularly if it's Medicare or another government issued healthcare provider. You want to speak with your attorney about any testimony or evidence that he or she deems harmful for the case. You want to assist the attorney in drafting motions in limine. You want to assist with organizing focus groups. You want to also read and summarize deposition transcripts. You want to ensure that all trial exhibits are exchanged with opposing counsel. You want to confer with your supervising attorney about any any exhibits that will be used for trial, charts, drawings, blow-ups, animations, etc. You want to prepare the pre-trial memorandum. And again, you should check your local rules with regard to format and content of your pre-trial memorandum. But generally speaking, the paralegal will draft a summary statement of facts, a summary of the plaintiff's injuries, identify all witnesses that will testify on his or her behalf, identify all documents or exhibits that will be used at trial, and state approximately how long the trial will last. The attorneys that I work with prefer to keep the pre-trial memo simple so as not to give too much information to the defendants before the trial actually begins. You want to ensure that all pre-trial documents are timely filed and served. You want to confer with your attorney about the order of witnesses and make travel arrangements for your expert witnesses and lay witnesses as required. Prepare exhibits that will be used for each witness. Conduct searches on defense experts and get a jury list as soon as it is available so that you can search the potential jurors' Facebook or other social media platforms, and give that to your attorney who will be trying the case. Now, Betsy's going to delve deeper into preparing the trial binders.
Hi, everybody. It's wonderful to be here with you guys again. It's wonderful to talk about this topic. And I want to thank Doug and Ginger for giving us the opportunity, and Doug for just his wonderful words that he has to say about Nekeisha and I. Believe it or not, Nekeisha and I know each other very well. I was the paralegal manager at a law firm where I hired her. So her and I have become very good friends. And we hope that you are really going to get something, out of this trial preparation. So where I'm going to start is actually the nuts and bolts of it, what you're doing in preparing for trial. Everything that needs, there is so much paper and there's so much paperwork. And not only are you having to do things in hard copy, but you're also having to do things electronically now. So there is just a lot of work to be done when you are preparing for trial. Is it just one trial binder? I get that question a lot. I have been to 2 trials with Attorney O'Donnell. I used to practice insurance defense law, and I was at 6 trials in there. And I actually have another trial coming at the end of September. So this is hitting home for me right now. So is it just one trial binder? No. Absolutely not. You are not just making a master exhibit binder. That is not what trial is. Your job is so much more than that when it comes to trial. So some of the binders that you may be making is the master exhibit binder, the master trial binder, the witness binders, and this means each and every witness should have their own binder. So you're doing plaintiff's witnesses as well as defense witnesses on cross-examination. You're doing expert witness binders, which should cover plaintiff's experts as well as defense experts as on cross. Now here in Luzerne County, Pennsylvania, we just found out something recently. It is in my newest trial order. I have to make separate jury exhibit binders. And the thing about the jury exhibit binders is they can only contain the documents that are produced or introduced during trial. So even if you mark 150 exhibits and you only use 100, you have to make sure only those 100 exhibits are in the jury exhibit binder. And the thing about the jury exhibit binder, in Pennsylvania, we have trials of 12, but then we have 2 alternates. So on the fly, I will have to be making 14 jury exhibit binders that will be given to the jury for deliberations in the jury room at the end of the trial. So everybody asks, when preparing for trial, is it a Monday through Friday type of thing, 9 to 5? And no, it's not. When you're preparing for trial, you're going to have to be prepared to work weekends. You're going to have to be prepared to work nights or mornings or, whatever's the most convenient for your schedule. But unfortunately, you have to be prepared to do that. Trial, while you're preparing for trial, you need to keep up with your other caseload, the other cases that you have going. So you're going to find yourself not having the time to dedicate during the normal workday. As I said, I'm going to the trial in the end of September, and hopefully starting this weekend, I will be dedicating a few hours every Saturday or Sunday to making my trial exhibit binders. So yeah, if anybody's ever seen the movie Office Space, which is one of my favorites, this is the manager. So yeah, he has a trial on Monday. So if you could spend your Saturday preparing exhibits, that'd be great. Be prepared to do that. Take pride in trial, take pride in what you're doing, and you are really going to shine, to really make it your own. And it's a great way to know every aspect of the case. Okay, so preparing the master exhibit binder. Now, what this is the master exhibit binder. So it not only includes plaintiff's exhibits, but it also includes defense exhibits, not impeachment exhibits. That's entirely different. So this file should include every possible exhibit that the attorney may use in the case. The exhibit should be included in the exhibit list that is provided to the court as well as defense counsel. In a minute, I'm going to show you a master exhibit list that I have recently used. I create this in Excel, and each exhibit contains the exhibit's full name, so they're easily referenced, the Bates stamped numbers, as well as a pre-marked exhibit. You will find yourself, a lot of defense counsels don't have the ability to pre-mark exhibits, so you'll find that sometimes you're going to have to Bates stamp and pre-mark their exhibits. I had to do this on a case that we had recently, and you know, I actually preferred it that way because I knew everything that was going into that trial exhibit binder. I also create a folder of master exhibits, and I will have all exhibits in hard copy as well as virtual. I actually have a terabyte drive. That terabyte drive, I download the entire file. So we have a file in a file sharing system as well as on the master computer. And what I do is I make sure that those items are on that terabyte drive as well as my full hard copy of the virtual exhibits. I do know that my current trial order tells me that I have to have my exhibits virtually as well as in hard copy. The one thing you need to remember is exhibits really shouldn't be hole punched. They should be put in a sheet protector, because if the attorney is using that exhibit, if he is showing that to somebody, you don't want to have hole punches in it. You don't want that exhibit to look gnarly, for lack of a better word. And only clean copies of the exhibits will be placed in the master trial binder. If the attorney marks up an exhibit, that's going to be placed somewhere else for his review and his knowledge. The master exhibit binders are the exhibits that you are going to use during trial. Now, pre-marking exhibits. A lot of people don't understand what this means. This means that you actually have to pre-mark them with those little exhibits tab stickers, plaintiff's exhibit 1, plaintiff's exhibit 2, or defendant exhibit 1, defendant exhibit 2, those type of things. I actually do them chronologically, so I'll have 150 plaintiff's exhibits, and then 151 will start defense exhibits. Right here is my master exhibit list. As you can see, in this I had some MRI films as well as some videos, those type of things, everything. And I mean, everything had a number and everything was pre-marked. This was actually provided to the court. This is my virtual binder. And you will see I'll have all the exhibits numbered. I'll try to put them in some type of order so I know where everything is. This case had 150 separate exhibits. Some were very voluminous, and I think I had 14 master exhibit binders. Everything was put together, everything was copied, everything was clean. That way, at any given time, I could produce a clean paper copy of an exhibit, as well as having my virtual exhibits that I could produce to who was doing our PowerPoint or our trial advisor type presentation. So I was able to give them anything they needed at a moment's notice because I had it all saved. The master exhibit binder, this was the front sheet. So these were what was on the front of the binder, so I could quickly reference what was inside each binder. One does not simply create 150 trial exhibits overnight. This took weeks, this took time, and you will have to spend that time. You do really need to make sure that each and every exhibit is perfect, because this is you on the line. This is what paralegals dream of doing. You know, when we all went to school, when we all went to the different paralegal seminars, things that we have, trial is the ultimate thing. That is the one thing that a paralegal really wants to do at least once in their life. So you have to be perfect when you do it. Now, the difference between the master exhibit binder and the master trial binder. The master trial binder is for the attorney's eyes only. You are not going to share this binder with anybody except the attorney trying the case and whoever may be sitting second chair. What goes in the master trial binder? That would be the attorney's opening, the attorney's closing, the jury list, the exhibit list, the witness list, all direct and cross examinations, any voir dire, any jury verdict interrogatories, anything that has to do with the trial as a whole will go into this binder. Now, you know, this binder, you should try not to keep it voluminous. You should try to keep it on the thinner side. That way the attorney can carry it with him in his briefcase. You should know where this binder is at all times. You should know whether it's in his trial bag. You should know whether it's with your other binders. You should know whether or not it's sitting right in front of you. This is the nuts and bolts of your case. This is the documents that the attorney needs, but you really don't want anybody else to see, especially if, you know, defense counsel doesn't leave on lunch. So you want to make sure that this stuff is protected. You know that where it is at all times and that it is complete. Okay, preparing witness binders. Now, the difference, again, we're going to go the difference. The master exhibit binder is the binder for everybody to see. The trial binder is for the attorney's eyes only. Well, what goes into a witness binder? Well, witness binders, I actually make 2 copies. One goes to the witness for preparation purposes. The second goes to the attorney. Now, those 2 binders are actually different from each other. In the attorney's binder, of course, goes the witness's direct examination, the deposition transcripts or statements, any medical records, if it would be the plaintiff, file memos, the subpoena, any other documentation pertaining to that individual witness, as well as any exhibit specific to that witness. Now, the difference here is the attorney's going to mark up these items. He is going to highlight. He is going to write on them. He is going to do all different types of things to this witness binder, to his witness binder. So he is going to make sure that each and every binder is specific to the witness that is specific to him. So his thoughts, his thoughts are going to be in here. His ideas about the witness, ideas about the testimony, the things that he may want to highlight, the things he may want to back off on. So these witness binders need to be prepared well before trial. I will probably start preparing these about 3 weeks out. That way he has his witness binder to look through, to prepare for, to take home with him. Now, the binder that goes to the witness, that is going to be very, very clean. It may have the witness's direct examination if it's the plaintiff or, maybe a damage witness. It will still have a deposition transcript. It will still have statements. If it's a plaintiff, it will have their medical records, but this will be very clean. Nothing will be marked up. Nothing will be highlighted. The attorney's thoughts will not necessarily be in this binder because those thoughts should be reserved for when the attorney is sitting in front of the client prepping them. I do find that occasionally the witness does better with 2 preps. 1 prep with me, just going over kind of the nuts and the bolts of it, just the very broad strokes of what this is going to be like. And then a really nitty gritty prep with the attorney where they talk about the testimony and talk about, the different aspects of the case. You will find that a plaintiff needs to be prepped more than once. You may have 2 or 3 or 4 prep sessions for each and every, for the plaintiff, husband and wife usually together, because you want them to know the case just as well as you do. You don't ever want them to seem rehearsed. You do want their emotions to shine through. I actually, in my trial coming up, I have literally my favorite client. He is in his late 80s. He is the most personable guy you are ever going to meet in your life. And I know that he will need a minimum of 3 preps and probably quite a bit more than that. However, his personality is so wonderful that you're going to want that to shine through. So you're not going to want him to seem rehearsed, but you are going to want him to seem prepped. Now, like a damage witness is going to be somebody who witnessed what the plaintiff has gone through. So maybe it's their wife or maybe it's their child, or maybe it's a friend. And in that binder, you're going to want to try to have pictures of them doing stuff together, or you're going to want to have an idea of what those two people, how they're tied together, how to make everybody seem human, how to get your jury to connect with those individual witnesses. And I find that, screening them, taking statements from them, all those type of things are just a way to make the trial more personable, to make people, connect. And that's what you need. You need the jury to connect with you. Okay, so here we go. An expert witness binder. Hi, Ginger, do you need to run your?
Yeah, I was going to ask before we get into this next section, Betsy, is it okay? I'm going to bring in two of our incredible partners just for a minute, so that way they can share with you guys a little bit more about what they do. Mm-hmm. And you guys are doing an amazing job so far. I'm already hearing such good feedback. So again, I'm looking forward to hearing all these questions when you guys are finished. And so thank you so much, Nekeisha, for opening it. And thank you, Betsy, for talking about these trial binders, because they're really very useful tools. And I hope that everyone will definitely do this if they're not already doing it already. So it looks like right now I'm bringing in Paul Luttrell with Strategic. So he will be here in just a moment. And then also I'm going to bring in Diane Brown with On Point. We're so happy to have her with us today too. Paul, how are you doing?
Great, great. Connor is on his honeymoon, so you're stuck with me.
Hey, that's okay. I tell you, we're just glad that he's able to take a little time off and enjoy it. But we love working with Connor, and it's just special to have you with us today. So thank you for joining.
It's a pleasure being here too.
So tell us a little bit about Strategic, because I know that you guys do some of the most amazing work over there that nobody else is doing, and you're helping find these witnesses that nobody else could ever find, and you're turning these cases all completely around. Share with us a little bit more about what you guys do.
Will do. So Ginger, I have a lot of people ask me when I'm talking to clients or prospective clients if I'm a lawyer. I'm not, but I get to hang out and work with a lot of great ones because of programs, like this, like case analysis, a lot of these great webinars. I get to meet a lot of really smart lawyers. And, a lot of them tell me the same thing. And that is, and I'm going to give you an expression, I'll say it slowly. Anger drives verdicts. So when you're suing a corporation, sympathy doesn't work so well. But anger toward the negligence of that corporate entity does. As one of my friends says, we're not saying the corporation is bad, but some of the things they did were awful. And some of the wonderful things they could have done, they neglected not to do. And so what we do to help drive anger and drive verdicts and values is we identify the ex-employees of the companies you're suing who know their secrets, who can plant that seed of suspicion and anger in the hearts of your jurors and really just be a game changer for the cases. We create and deliver something. I'm going to see if it shows up here. We call it, this is a list of the kind of ex-employees that you will not get in a million years out of discovery. The defendant is just not going to give you, you're in an arms race, okay? And they are not going to give you the weapons in which you can kill them. So you have to get on the offensive. You have to develop the names of these people, get on the phone and talk to them, see who's sympathetic, who's knowledgeable, and who's willing to work with you. John Romano says that these lists that we produce, they're so valuable, we should put them under glass. So you see, that's what I did here, right? I put it under glass. Get it, Doug? It's like the Magna Carta, okay? So anyway, we also have a team of folks who know how to get on the phone, talk to people just one-on-one as flesh and blood people and say, hey, we understand you want to work for this company. We're in a conflict with them, and we're just interested in how they did business and what they did right, what they did wrong. What can you tell us? Do you mind spending 5 or 10 minutes on the phone with me? And once you do that, once you ask the question, once you consider the possibility there may be someone very knowledgeable out there who can bring some things to light and be willing and even eager to work with you once you ask the question. It's just amazing what comes out of those conversations. So we've been doing it for about 20 years. We're in Atlanta, Georgia, but we work all over the country. Every kind of PI environment you can imagine, we've done. I'm going to put my contact information on the chat. Give me a call or give Connor a call. We're easy to work with. We'll talk to you about your case and get you started.
Hey, Paul, Doug Bean, Melbourne, Florida, the harbor city. How are you?
Great, man. Good to see you.
I see you're in your sartorial splendor. I hope you have a pair of boots that complement that nice shirt you have on today.
I will not be able to show you my boots today, Doug, but give me some advance warning and I'm happy to accommodate you.
Let me ask you, if you're a trial paralegal or you're a trial lawyer, you're watching this today, is it possible to get a redacted copy of, I think you call it the eel? Is it possible to get that? And if so, how do you do it?
Just ask us for it. We're happy to send you a redacted copy of an eel, the ex-employee list. And what we say is that the eel is real. It's able to electrify trials and create that anger in the hearts of your jurors toward your defendant. It's a powerful tool.
By the way, Paul, that sounded like you were laying down a few lines of rap there for a minute. I was enjoying it.
Fabulous. Thank you so much, Paul. And also, don't forget to put your information in the chat box for everybody.
Will do.
And also, thank you for the good work that you guys are doing on class action cases as well, because several of my attorneys are working with you guys, and I love hearing about all the success stories.
Okay, great to be with all of you today. And Gastonia,
My hometown, Gastonia, North Carolina, the Spindle City, pacemaker of the Piedmont. Hey, Paul, one other thing. We really appreciate your work. You know the cases I'm talking about. Thank you so much. And I know John Romano, Neil O'Donnell, and others really enjoy working with you. You're a really creative person. And Paul does not get you in trouble. He's creative, but he's ethical. So Paul, wanted to leave you with that thought.
thank you so much. Great to see you.
Thanks, Paul. Come back anytime, okay?
Will do.
And speaking of Gastonia, they have the best ice cream right there at Tony's, right, Doug?
That's right. If you go to Tony's Ice Cream on Franklin Boulevard in Gastonia, North Carolina, and get a milkshake, they give you so much ice cream, then they put a scoop on top, so you can't put a top on it. And they sell a T-shirt that says, if you ask for a top, you're not from Gastonia. So there you go. Go to Tony's Ice Cream. I would say tell them I sent you, but I don't think it'll do you any good. But it's a great ice cream place.
And now I have ice cream on the brain. I wish there was some way to offer it to everybody watching right now. But we do have a special giveaway with a brand new coffee that HMR is going to be giving away to one lucky winner at the end of this webinar. So I can't wait to find out who that's going to be. But anyway, in the meantime, I'm going to switch gears real quick and introduce you guys to Diane Brown, who is just so lovely. She works over there with On Point, and she's going to share with you guys a little bit more about what they do, because they have a wonderful team of nurses and they do a lot of great work. So Diane, welcome with us. Thank you for being here. And please let us know a little bit more about On Point.
Hey, Ginger, how are you? How's everybody? It's good
Wonderful.
to be back for part 2. I'm really learning a lot. Yeah, I work for On Point. I have to share a little story with you. There was an attorney, I guess I've been with On Point about 4 years, but one of the very first attorneys that I worked with said, make sure you CC my paralegal. And I was thinking to myself, oh, okay. I thought you were the big cheese, but I'll email her. And he said, my paralegals are the glue that holds this practice together, this firm together. And I thought it was, I said, wow, that's really complimentary. That's really great. But through the 4 years that I've been working with attorneys and paralegals, I am finding out that that's very true. And Nekeisha and Betsy, you are definitely convincing me. Every time I hear you guys, the wonderful work that you do, it's really amazing. We work a lot with paralegals in helping support them when they get a little bit overloaded, or they're multiple, they have multiple priorities that they're juggling. So it's a pleasure to listen to you guys. And at On Point, we do something kind of similar. You were talking about the attention to detail and how important it is to be prepared when you go to trial. And that's something that the legal nurse consultants do at On Point. We also locate medical expert witnesses for you. And we really want to make sure that you maximize your case value by really doing a good job reviewing the medical record. We want to make sure that you get all the medical facts. We like to say that we simplify the medicine and uncover hidden gems in the medical record. And whether we're doing a chronology or a timeline, or maybe one of our unique case analysis on one of your PI or med mal cases, we want to make sure that if there's a missing x-ray or there's a previous back injury, that we highlight that and make you aware of it. We don't want you to be blindsided by anything that the defense might find in the medical record. We can outline strengths and weaknesses, system failures and standards of care, any red flags, any potential defendants. I mean, you were talking about the defendant and the witness list. I mean, it's really important that you have somebody that's medically trained to be able to do that for you. So when we were at AAJ, I spoke about this a couple of weeks ago. We had attorneys saying similar things to what Doug said. They are busier than ever. Their staff is stretched to the limit. And we'd like to let any of the paralegals or attorneys know we're here to kind of be a backup. We can help you streamline case support when you need it. We want to free you guys up so you can work on the legal aspects of your case, and we can locate and vet clinically active experts for you if you need it. Maybe you get a call and you just want to know if you have a case or not. We're here, we have clinical experts that can do a merit screen for you to let you know if you have a case or not. And maybe you're heading to the settlement table and you need a damages report created for you, or maybe a bill review. I mean, they can be very impactful at the settlement table. So these are some things that we can do. If you're not familiar with legal nurse consulting, please give us a call. Go onto our website, hit the contact us button. Tell us a little bit about the case you need support on, and we'll connect you with the right nurse or program coordinator to give you the details. And of course, there's no cost for an initial phone conversation. And also there is no cost for us to locate an expert for you. The only cost that your firm will incur is if you choose to use that expert. So I just wanted to let you know that it's kind of a no risk if you give us a call for locating an expert. So it's good to see you, Doug.
Hey, Diane, I want to ask you something. You're a new paralegal. The paralegal, he or she goes to the lawyer and tells he or she, hey, I just watched this webinar. I saw Paul Luttrell. I've seen Diane Brown of On Point. What do you think? Should I give them a call? Do you think, how do you handle that? Should you be intimidated by calling you if you're a new paralegal or a new lawyer and saying, Diane, I need a little help here with my case? What do you think? It's confidential, right? And it doesn't cost anything. And you might be able to, you've done many, many different kinds of cases. So how do you handle that? I guess, are you gentle and kind, Diane?
Of course. Of course. That's how you learn. I mean, we've always been very nurturing of anyone who calls, anybody who needs information. We've had a lot of attendees from these webinars call us and ask us questions. And just for instance, I'll give you an example. You asked me one time, for the young attorney starting out, can they afford your services? And my answer to you was, they can't afford not to use our services. Because one of the examples that I like to share is we had a young attorney call, and he didn't need a full life care plan. We did a medical cost projection for this, I think it was an orthopedic injury. And I think it's a lot of hours to review these medical records. And I want to say that the cost was about $2,200, maybe a little bit less for this medical cost projection. But the attorney got back to us and said that he increased his case value by $75,000. So when you think about spending $2,000 for a report, you might initially say, I can't afford that. But you can't afford not to get as much at the settlement table as you can by having that extra information, it really gave him, you know, the maximum value of his case. So I just wanted to share that example. So please don't be afraid to call us. Let us know what you need and we'll be happy to help.
Right.
Absolutely. Thank you so much, Diane. And we think the world of you. We think of the world of On Point as well. So I highly suggest that you guys save Diane's number, reach out to her whenever you have time. And again, Diane, thanks for being with us today. I look forward to seeing you again soon.
All right, thanks. Thanks, Betsy. Thanks, Nekeisha. It's been great. See you later.
Hey, Ginger, I'm so inspired by Paul and Ginger. I know HMR and Bruce Braxton Fast Funds coming up. By
Oh, me
popular
too.
demand, I'm going to put something in the chat box for everyone. Let's see if I can do this.
I hope it's money, Doug.
Don't get too excited.
All right, just kidding. I don't want you to get too excited.
However, it is something I just sent out. Did you get that, Ginger?
I don't see anything yet, Doug.
See if that's it.
Oh, I love it. So it looks
Okay,
like the
I'm
first 25
inspired by
paralegals
Yes.
that write Doug at Dougbeam at dougbeam.com, you're going to get a wonderful discovery notepad. That is wonderful, Doug. Thank you.
Handmade in Melbourne, Florida, environmentally friendly, the top trawlers and top trial
And
paralegals choice.
everybody can use
One of
them.
the first 25, send it in and we'll get them to you back. I can tell these paralegals, Betsy and Nekeisha are just hanging in there. You see them? They're like
They're ready to get back
thoroughbreds
to
at the
it. We still got a lot more to cover. And
That's
then
right.
probably,
So let's get to it.
probably around 20, 25 minutes, I'm going to pop back in and you guys will be able to meet Bruce from Fast Funds and then also Kyle from HMR. But let's get to it because Betsy and Nekeisha have a lot more to cover.
And send your questions and comments in. We'll save them. Thanks.
Okay, guys, I do want to cover one more thing under witness binders because I did almost forget, and they're just as important as a plaintiff or a damage witness binders. And those are your binders of the defense witnesses as on cross. You know, defense will get you will have a list of defense witnesses and you will have that hopefully several weeks before trial. What I do is I make sure each and every defense witness, I have any deposition transcripts or statements in there. I will search their social media. Yes, I will Facebook stalk them. I will make sure I download anything that would help. We had a case where we were suing a bar, and on one of the defendant's witnesses' social media page, the owner of the bar actually said you could never drink too much. And he had way overserved somebody, which helped us settle the case. So by social media stalking a cross witness, we actually got the case settled before trial. But anything, so the cross-examination would go in there, any social media that you find, any statements, any discovery produced by defendant that is specific to them, anything that your attorney needs for impeachment purposes. Now, these impeachment documents will likely not be anywhere else because most of the time they are not in the master exhibit binder because that binder is shared with everybody. So any impeachment documents would go in a cross-examination binder. You know, if it's the defendant's doctor, I will make sure I have the defendant's doctor's CV in there. I will have sample reports of different reports that they've written in different cases. And yes, we actually keep a file of old defense reports here. So if Dr. Smith writes a report in the Jim Doe file, we still have that report and we will put that in the cross-exam binder because you'll find that a lot of these defense medical experts will literally cut and copy their reports from report to report to report. So you're able to show that these are just really a cookie cutter report with a 5-minute examination. If we send a legal nurse consultant with our client to the DME, we will make sure that legal nurse consultant's report is in that cross-exam binder of the doctor. Anything to help your attorney cross-examine that witness and have a productive cross-examination. So next, oh, hold on. Oh, I guess I'm not in show mode. I'm sorry. There we go. Expert witness binders. What goes into an expert witness binder? The direct examination, the medical records, any narrative report, the CV, all correspondence to and from the expert. In the state of Pennsylvania, a lot of that correspondence is discoverable, and they're going to be asking about the expert's fees and those type of things. Motions in limine come with that topic. However, it's something that should be in the binder. Any file memos that contain your attorney's thoughts or anything on the expert, and any exhibit pertaining to that particular expert. Also in the plaintiff's medical expert binders, I will put a copy of my medical summary, and I will highlight the records that pertain to that doctor or any other doctor that refers back to that doctor. That way, the attorney has a complete idea in each and every expert witness binder on every expert that's testifying. They'll know every document that expert reviewed, and it will help us prepare for the cross-examination of our medical expert. And experts don't necessarily just have to be medical. You can have, as one point was saying, a medical costs expert. You can have a liability expert. You can have a nurse or a physical therapist or somebody who's not your typical defense expert, some type of treater. Each of those will get their own binder, and I will be very careful to make sure that their experience is in that binder. What I want the attorney to be able to do with the expert witness binders is take them with them. I can look for what's planned for the next day. I can pick up a binder and I can hand it to him. That's why I don't combine binders. And whether I'm doing it electronically or whether I'm doing it with paper, I make sure every single witness has their own binder, because you don't want to jumble things together and get the attorney confused on exactly what's supposed to be in there. All right, here's the new thing. This is a work in progress. I am not sure how exactly this is going to go. I'm going to give you my thoughts on it. By September 27th, I have to have a good idea of what I'm going to be doing on these. Juror binders. This is something new. Courts are requiring that each juror has its own binder of exhibits due to COVID. They do not want each juror to be touching each thing. They don't want them to be passing things around. The trial order did tell me that the jurors will be provided with gloves, but you don't want to be the one to have to make them put those gloves on. Juror binders are going to be made on the fly. So, as I'm watching the testimony, as I'm keeping track of the witnesses and the exhibits that are introduced, each night I'm going to go back to the office after trial, and I'm going to start making juror binders. I'm going to say, okay, so we used exhibit 1, exhibit 5, exhibit 10, and exhibit 20 today. Those will be put in those 14 juror binders each and every night. That way, when it comes time to produce those binders to give them to the jury, I'm ready. Again, these binders can only contain exhibits moved into evidence during trial. So if you decide not to use exhibit 2, that exhibit 2 cannot be in that binder. So again, these cannot be made beforehand. These have to be made as the trial is going along. 14 binders. Now, I went to Walmart and I found some really great binders that are going to work very, very well for these juror binders. I have them stacked in the corner, and what I'll do before I leave for trial that morning is I will go ahead and line them up. And as soon as I come back, I'll make my copies and I'll put them in each and every binder, and then I'll go home. So courtroom technology. As I said, the judge is requiring paper copies as well as an electronic portion of every exhibit. There's a lot of new courtroom technology out there. When you're looking, the juror doesn't necessarily sit in the juror box anymore. They are spread around the courtroom, and they are to look at monitors. You know, so they're not sitting close to the witness. From what we understand right now, and we're not sure because COVID has been on a little bit of an uptick, the only person in the courtroom that will not be wearing a mask is the person testifying. So you have to make sure that you're watching around you to see, you know, what people are doing. Try to look at the body language, because having them have masks on make everything so much worse. And you have to learn to rely on the technology. If there's technology you don't understand, ask. I mean, make sure you ask, make sure you understand that. We are very, very lucky. The Pennsylvania Bar Association is giving a seminar at the Luzerne County Courthouse at the end of this month on courtroom technology. You know, we're all very busy. I am going to be preparing for trial, but I'm going to take the time out to go attend a seminar like that, because I want to know what's being used in the courtroom that I'm going to be in 2 months. You know, you have to make time to learn the new stuff, even if the new stuff is hard. Okay, to attend trial or not to attend trial? That's the question. You know, when we all go to school, when we talk to our teachers, most paralegals' dream is attending trial. We all watch the TV show Bull, or we've all seen Law and Order, and we see people in the courtroom, and we want to do that. We want that experience. We want to be able to go, to sit there, to help, to make a difference. But I'm finding, as I talk to paralegals, very few of us actually do get to attend trial. How do I convince my attorney to allow me to attend trial? For about 1.5 years, I thought I wanted to leave the law, and I did. I did something completely different. It was a marketing position. And after 1.5 years, Attorney O'Donnell came and found me, and I returned. But while I was there, I learned something called VAS. Now, what you ask, what is VAS and what does that have to do with me being a paralegal? A value added service. What is that? How does a value added service, again, pertain to me as a paralegal? What can you do from the courthouse that you would not be able to do from the office? How can you help the case run more smoothly while sitting at the courthouse and not at your desk? How can you help with the client or the witnesses? How can you help with the bottom line by being at the courthouse instead of being at your desk? Those are questions that you need to convince your attorney of if you really want to be there, if you really want to attend trial. I loved this cartoon. What's a 9-letter word for indispensable? Paralegal. You know, in our job, we've learned, as you do this for years upon years upon years, that the more indispensable you make yourself, the more of those dream type things that you're going to get to do. So what can you do at the courthouse? You can deal with the client. In one of the last cases I went on, the client had a head injury, and she would occasionally say inappropriate things or talk to inappropriate people. And technically she needed a babysitter. I was that babysitter. I walked her to and from the bathroom. I made sure when she went to go eat lunch that there was nobody around that she could talk to, or that she could, take the risk of talking to the wrong person. If she talks to a juror, you could have a mistrial on your hands. You have to make sure that your client understands that they can't talk to the people around them, because you don't know who's maybe there for the defense. You don't understand, you don't want them accidentally talking to the defense paralegal. You don't want them accidentally talking to a juror. So, stuff that doesn't really seem like your job becomes your job. You unfortunately need to do these things. Did I want to walk her to the bathroom? No. Did I do it? Absolutely, because at that time, that is a value added service that helps my attorney, because he didn't have to worry about where the client was or what the client was doing. You can schedule witnesses in real time. The one thing that you need to know about trial is nothing runs exactly as you expect. The attorney may tell you, okay, well, we're going to do openings today. We're going to call this witness, and this witness. Somehow the openings go an hour too long. And so that pushes back the first witness, that pushes back the second, that pushes back the third. When you're sitting in the courtroom, you can have your cell phone or your laptop open, and you can be sending emails, making phone calls, those type of things. You can excuse yourself, go out into the hallway, call the next witness and say, listen, I'm not going to need you for another hour. That way people are not sitting around, they're not getting nervous, they're not getting upset, and you're not wasting anybody's time. You can assist with the exhibits. What I mean is, you have these beautiful master exhibit binders. You can know exactly which exhibit goes with which witness, and you can have those ready for the attorney. You can have copies. You can have them ready for the attorney to hand to the witness. You can also assist if you have somebody in the courtroom with you doing something like trial advisor. They can, maybe they don't have the right exhibit, or maybe it's not looking the right way. You can provide that exhibit to them electronically or in paper to help make sure it gets into the presentation correctly. As I said before, you know what's going on in that courtroom. You're the one sitting there, you're the one listening to the testimony, so you can prepare the attorney for the next day. So he does witness A, B, and C. Well, you can make sure he has the binders for the next day for D, E, and F. You know what's going on, and you can help with that. You can pre-meet with the witnesses. So if you know witness X is coming in at 2 o'clock, and at 1:45, witness Y is still on the stand, you can go out and meet with witness X. You can tell them, okay, this is what's going on. I expect your wait is going to be about another 15 minutes. Why don't you go ahead and sit here and, just prepare them. Sometimes if it's a damaged witness who is nervous, sit with them. Here's a big thing. Take trial notes. I have my handy dandy Elite Book HP. I took this with me and I took trial notes. I typed as fast as I could in real time, taking down the witness's testimony. I had, of course, my terabyte drive that I could plug right in and do everything that I needed to do on that case right there on my laptop. So as I was looking around, as I was listening to the testimony, I was making sure I was typing it. That way, at the end of every night, I could send my trial notes to the attorney so he could review what was going on at the trial that day, see maybe if he missed something or if I missed something. That way we could compare and contrast notes, and he could figure out what needs to be covered by what witness the next day. Being at trial, you can watch the jurors' expressions and reactions to the testimony. I mean, if you see a juror shaking their head, looking disgusted, write that juror's number down. Make sure you know what was being talked about at that time. That way, you can make sure that in real time, what in the world is going on with each and every juror. Of course, now that's going to be harder since all jurors are not sitting in the jury box. Not quite sure how that's going to work this time around, but I guess we'll have to see. Again, you have that electronic copy of the file that you can pull documents from. And I'm not talking the master exhibit list this time. I'm talking everything. I download literally everything. Every letter we sent, every piece of discovery, everything in that file is on my terabyte drive, and I have instant access to it if needed. Running smoothly. Listen, as a paralegal, when you're going to trial, you literally know this file better than anybody else. Do you know if you need an emergency exhibit? Do you know where to get that exhibit, how to get that exhibit, and how to give it to the attorney as soon as possible? Do you need to call or prep a witness? Did something turn up that's just completely unexpected where you need to sit down on when everybody else goes to lunch and you need to review the trial documents, trying to find that unexpected piece of evidence that may have come out? And, do you need to make sure that you have something to rebut that piece of evidence? You can solve these problems as they come to light when you're sitting in that courtroom. Your trial notes, they'll become invaluable, given to the attorney at the end of each day so he can review the testimony. This I just found really funny. I hope y'all like it too. Warning, when you hear a paralegal say, first of all, run away, because they've prepared a list, research, data, charts, and will destroy you and your little dog too. The bottom line, you guys have to understand that a trial is not 9 to 5. You will be working overtime. You will be working a lot. You'll be doing early mornings, you'll be doing nights, you'll be doing weekends. And don't complain about it. Trial doesn't happen often. This isn't going to happen to you often. But when it does, it's your job to get things done and prepare the attorney. I know that's unpopular. I know we all have lives. Some people have children, some people have second jobs, some people have other places to be. But during trial, you need to be there. You need to be with that file. Again, don't sweat the menial tasks. I occasionally hear a paralegal say, well, that's a secretarial task. Not during trial. Getting coffee, babysitting clients or witnesses, making copies, typing. Those are all paralegal tasks. There is no secretarial or paralegal roles during trial. There's just getting it done. I know sometimes that's unpopular, but it is what it is. You need to make sure that you're prepared, that you are ready to go. So this is our last illustration. This is our last slide. We're almost done, Nekeisha. What my friends think I do, what my parents think I do, what society thinks I do, what my boss thinks I do, what lawyers think I should do, what our clients think I do, what I actually do. We all feel like we're drowning at times. We all have so much paper around us. We have so much to do, so many things going on. Occasionally, we have a moment. And, we have a moment, we get better, we get back up on it, and we start moving forward. So I guess, Doug, I'm kicking it back to you for any questions or anything like that for what people
Actually, I'm going to need a copy of that slide. That is so good, that picture. I love it. It's so accurate in many ways. Before we get to all the questions, though, Betsy, which I want to give everybody a chance to start putting those in the Q&A box for Doug, I want to loop back over real quick to Nekeisha, because I would like for her to just take a moment to go over the subpoena task list for everybody. And I think she's got a few things she's going to mention about that. And then I'm going to introduce everyone quickly to Bruce Braxton for the very first time live here on Connectionology. He's with Fast Funds. And then I've also got a special video I'm going to play from Kyle with HMR. And then Ted is going to pop in for a special announcement and let us know who's going to win the special copy today. So Nekeisha, I'm going to take you off mute for a second. And then if you don't mind, just cover some of the information that you're going to share.
Thank you so much. In my haste in going through the paralegal's role in helping to prepare their attorneys for trial, I inadvertently skipped over a very important task, and that would be the trial subpoenas. Subpoenas should be sent to non-party witnesses. For example, if it was an automobile accident, the plaintiff may want to subpoena the police officer who responded to the incident, or the plaintiff may want to subpoena first responders. The plaintiff may also want to subpoena individuals who witnessed the accident, or individuals who can testify as to how the incident affected the plaintiff. Additionally, plaintiffs may serve a notice to attend upon opposing counsel to ensure the attendance of a party, an officer of a company, or managing agent for trial to testify for their case in chief. And then with regard to the corporate defendants, if after conversation with opposing counsel, it is determined that the defendant no longer has control over a specific witness the plaintiff wants to testify at trial, the witness should be served with a subpoena to ensure his or her testimony for the plaintiff's case in chief. And a copy of that subpoena must be served upon the opposing counsel. So I just wanted to make sure that I got that out there. That's a very important task that the paralegal does in terms of preparing the attorney for trial. If the subpoenas do not go out or the notice to attend do not go out, then that kind of weakens your client's case. So I apologize for skipping over that, but Ginger, I thank you for giving me the opportunity to discuss it with the paralegals today.
Oh, absolutely. Anytime you guys have something to share, we have time for it. This is so good. And so thank you so much for covering that. And I'm sure we're going to have some questions in just a few minutes for you guys. But before we jump back over to you, it is so wonderful to have you here with us today, Bruce. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you for inviting us. This is my first. Did I screw this up?
No, you did it great. In fact, I just want to let everybody know.
Here to help me.
Yeah, they're used to seeing Leon, but Leon's on vacation this week. So we're just thrilled to be able to have you with us. And we had Paul earlier, so it's kind of wonderful.
Yeah, I'm psyched to be here. Doug, it's always a pleasure. I'd like to thank Connectionology for the opportunity to invite us to be a part of your organization and the good things that you do to impart knowledge. Paralegals, thank you. I have to say that whereas everybody else seems to help you guys, we are the burden that everybody bears in the industry in plaintiff funding and case cost funding. What I'd like to say is that our job really is to help you and the attorney maximize the recovery of the client. The funding is a unique institute because we can help you or we can hurt your client. But the idea behind it is that just like any other expert, if you hire an accident reconstructionist for a medical malpractice case, it's the wrong application of an expert for your facts. It does not help you maximize the recovery of your client. It's the same thing with plaintiff funding or case cost funding for us. If we can't help you maximize the client's recovery, unfortunately, this may not be the type of service or type of product that works for your client. The question really is, how do you use our programs to help your attorney and your client increase or maximize what they get at the end of their case? Sometimes really you can use us more as a non-funding company where you say to the client, give a call to this company, and then it's really my job to explain to them that funding isn't warranted for their particular case and why, so that they're not off on a search for something that they're not going to attain or they're going to get. It wastes all of our time. I have to say thank you to all of you. You make my job way easier. You guys help us vet the clients. You guys know your clients. You guys know your clients' needs. If you tell us what your clients' needs are, it's my job to find funding solutions for them. In terms of your attorneys and case cost funding, where we take and pay for your experts on a non-recourse basis, it's a way of offsetting costs for your attorney to help them move more cases along. If you have any questions in regard to funding, please don't hesitate to give us a call. We're your tool. Our job is to help you with your clients settle their financial needs, keep them financially stable until the time at which the attorney can get the best result possible. That's my spiel. Thank you very much. If you have any questions, please, I'm here. I'm more than happy to answer.
Bruce, Doug Beam here. How are you today, Bruce?
I'm great. This is I want you to know, this is my first webinar. Sir,
Well,
I mean, that I speak in. I've been to a lot of them. I've never spoken.
Well, this ain't your first rodeo. Can you tell our attendees how far back your company goes in this field? You're truly pioneers. This may be your first webinar, but in your field, can you just give them a quick little historical account because we actually have a historical figure here in Bruce.
I'm
Pratt.
blushing. I'm very fortunate. My father and a couple other guys, many, many years ago, our company's 27, I think 26, 27 years old. They got together and tried to figure out how to help your clients by stabilizing them so that they could survive and meet their needs financially to get them to through their surgical procedures, through to the time at which your attorney needs them, and keep them off your backs from calling you day to day because they're hurting financially. If you take a financial burden away from the client, that's 70% of what they worry about. And their job is to get better. They get better when their needs are met. So if it works, now it doesn't work for every client. This is not funding for every case. But yeah, getting back to what you said, Doug, I'm fortunate. My dad is a pioneer in the industry, been doing this 26 years. We do it differently because we're here as your tool. I'm not a hedge fund or a big box company. The owners, myself, my brother, speak directly to your clients. We answer the phone. If you call, if you need something, when you want your payoffs, when someone sends you your request for information, when we call for case updates, when you call for your settlement figures, it's just myself, Jason, and Leon. So we're a small company, but we do big things for your clients. We help you get better results. And that's really what the three old guys wanted to do back in the 90s, was try to figure out how to help their clients without hurting them.
Bruce, I can tell you this, I find your voice very soothing. It's kind of like driving in my vehicle late at night, you come in and the radio. I think I need to have you do the voiceovers on my day in the life videos. It's very impressive. So
I know, and Bruce, I know Leon is still on vacation tomorrow, but we would love to welcome you back if you have time. Please join us.
I'm so stoked. I have them all scheduled. I watched my first Connectionology. Well, I watched one in the beginning, and with only 2 people, I'm surprised my phone hasn't rung yet, because I have another webinar going that I'm supposed to be watching now that's in the background. And we wear a lot of hats, but this was something that I wanted to do. It was, first off, you have Mr. Beam, who is an amazing moderator. Ladies, I haven't had the opportunity to meet you. I would, anytime, tap me on the shoulder. I would assume I'll see you in one of the association meetings. I belong to many. I appreciate, thank you very much for inviting me to be here today.
Thank you, Bruce.
Carol Smith is going to contact you. I'm going to ask her to contact you. She offline to talk to you about what happens in the case when there is no recovery. How does your company get reimbursed?
We don't, we lose. We walk away graciously. If there's no recovery in a case, these are non-recourse contracts. Non-recourse means that if there's no recovery or there's not enough money recovered to pay first the attorney's fees, costs, and the statutory medical liens, I can't go into the client's pocket to collect anything that doesn't stem directly from the lawsuit. It's in our best interest to close cases. A closed case is a better case. Just like, and I say this for every funding company you work with, at the end of your case, like you do your doctors, call your funding companies and say, hey, can I get a reduction? It's the same, we're a lien. It's a little different than your expert that you paid up front in attorney funding. But when you look at the plaintiff, on the plaintiff side, there's always a little bit of wiggle room for you. If not, they'll tell you that there isn't room for it, but you should always ask. So that's my end result for the day in non-recourse. I wish you all a great day. Look forward to tomorrow.
Thank you so much, Bruce. And please put your information. Yeah, please put your information in the chat box for everybody, okay?
How do I do
And
that?
then
I'm kidding. I'll figure it out.
that can help you out. All right, and now I'm going to play just a quick video for you guys from Kyle over at HMR, who's not able to be here with us. And then we're going to get to a couple of your questions and then end it with the coffee giveaway. So very excited. Doug, if you don't mind, just give me an okay if you guys can hear me play this video in just a moment, okay?
Sure.
Hey everybody, this is Kyle Kinberger with HMR Servicing. I'm the National Sales Manager for the company. Wanted to say a special thanks to Ginger and John at Connectionology for giving us an opportunity to come and speak to everybody today. At HMR, we handle all the medical funding needs for uninsured and underinsured plaintiffs who need medical treatment. And that can range from anything involving traumatic brain injury, spinal cord injury cases, burns, amputations. We also do a lot of pre-settlement funding here at HMR. Our goal is to serve the people who can't get the medical treatment they need because they've been involved in some type of accident. We work with thousands of law firms around the country and hundreds of medical providers, and we look forward to helping you if you need any assistance from us. Thank you so much for the opportunity to talk to y'all.
All right, Ginger, you want to get to a few questions here?
Absolutely. And I just want to say thank you so much to Kyle over at HMR. You guys, they are incredible. They're amazing. And if you come to Santa Fe and meet us on September 19th to the 21st, you get to hang out with Kyle as well, because they are sponsoring a wonderful dinner for everybody, our opening night. So big thanks to Kyle over there at HMR. And again, you're going to meet Ted in just a few minutes.
Okay.
But yeah.
Yes,
Let's
we have
answer a couple
a
questions.
number of comments. We're going to give we have so many comments, we're going to give you an extra 5-minute bonus today. We're going into extra time, as they say in soccer, or overtime here. One is Liz Clark, who's from Bay Springs, Mississippi, says 2 things. One, she needs coffee, oysters, and chocolate. We can only probably help her with the coffee option today if she wins. She also said, I'm thoroughly enjoying this webinar. I'm sure we will need another. So ladies, you're back in demand again. We're going to have to get you back. The questions, here are a few questions. Do you have, Carol Smith asks, do you have a sample binder for review? Whichever panelist, Nekeisha or Betsy, or what do you say about that? And you're on mute, Betsy.
There are a few samples in the PowerPoint of what binders will look like, what the table of contents will look like. It would be hard to give you an actual binder sample because a lot of the information inside those binders are very confidential. But I can send you a sanitized version of the table of contents of what a binder should look like. And that should give you an idea of how to put the binder together. If you wouldn't mind, just email me at Betsy, BETSY, at O'Donnell, ODONNELL -law, LAW.com.
All right. We have Miss Sanchez, Valeska Sanchez says, what size binders do you recommend? What works best in the courtroom? What size?
Actually, I use all different types of binders, all different sizes. My expert witness binders and my plaintiff binder, I like the 4-inch ring binders, just because they're more likely to have medical records in them. For my jury witness binders, I found 1/2-inch flexible plastic binders. So that is what I'll be using for those jury binders, because I don't expect them to be quite as voluminous. And then I just gauge on the documents that I have for each witness on the size of each binder. I find that the hard binders that have the plastic covering on the outside work best because you can slip a table of contents in the front of them.
All right. What do you think, Nekeisha? Do you agree with that?
Yes, I do. Just to go back to the last webinar that we did in terms of arbitration and mediation, I too agree with using the binders, excuse me, with the plastic folder, because I can put my table of contents in there as well and make it easier for the attorney to find the documents that will be needed inside the binder.
What do you think? Betsy Rodriguez from Honolulu asked, is there a software program you can suggest to use for calendaring trial deadlines that you like? We currently use CompuLaw. I've also heard that Clio is also good. I know from others, FileVine is excellent. A lot of people using that, even Outlook. What do you say about that?
At the firm,
Go ahead.
At the firm, we currently use Needles. When I worked in New York, I used TrialWorks. I've heard very good things about FileVine, but with regard to the current software that we're using, Needles, it's an excellent component on there for calendaring the assigned deadlines for the particular case. You can actually go into the calendar for the specific case and put in your deadlines for that case, or you can go into the general calendar and input your deadlines that the attorneys may need to meet, that the paralegal may need to meet, or any other thing that may come up, such as a reminder, following up on something that's outstanding, an expert report or medical records and what have you. I guess the best thing to do is just to find a software program that would be conducive for everyone to use in the firm, something that's very user-friendly.
Okay, and Lynn Johnson, Louis says, any suggestions for electronic exhibit stickers for Adobe? These are tough questions.
Okay, so electronic exhibit stickers. I've actually found that using the electronic exhibit stickers do not work well. What I've done in the past is I print out a hard copy of the master exhibit binder. I pre-mark everything using the stickers that the courts are used to. So I believe it's yellow for plaintiff, and is it green for defense, or blue for defense. I will hand pre-mark each and every exhibit tab. I will put them on and I will scan each exhibit in, and then I will use the electronic naming system that you guys will see in the PowerPoint.
And at our firm, I use a program that is named Foxit Phantom, which I find to be very useful for electronic documents. I'm able to mark my exhibits electronically and then send it electronically to my expert, or even to the attorney for viewing electronically.
Okay, I will tell you and all the attendees, the best software you can have for a trial lawyer and trial paralegal, you know what it is? The software you will use. That's the best software. People want to know all these things and then they don't use it, right? A lot of it, I think you just have to think about it. We have another question, bonus time here. Are you doing any real-time jury research as voir dire goes on? You know, some people call it voir dire, some people call it voir dire. You know what I call it? Picking a jury. So any recommendations with COVID protocol? Ms. Waleska Sanchez asked that.
Actually, yes. I will have my laptop there. I will have a hotspot connected to it, and I will have the ability to be on the internet and look through different things. Especially I think we usually get like a half an hour to review the jury questionnaires that are sent out by the court. And during that half an hour, if I haven't finished my research, because we occasionally get the jury list a week ahead of time, maybe 2 weeks ahead of time. But if something comes up that I really need to research, I will have my laptop there and I will be able to pull up Facebook and Instagram and Twitter. I don't necessarily use all those social media platforms myself, but I make sure I'm familiar with each and every one.
Okay. Cindy Estevez says exhibitstickers.com. Exhibitstickers.com has great options that work well with Adobe. So people might want to check that out. All right, before we go back to Ginger, one thing we need to, there's so many things we need to go over. I think as we come out of COVID, it's so important that we look at these things, the details necessary to be ready. Things like here in our circuit, face masks for witnesses. You have these, let me tell you, you have that. Some of our judges, some of our circuits in Florida say you wear these clear face masks. It's supposed to let you assess the credibility of witnesses. I don't know. You put this thing on, maybe everybody looks like they're not credible. I don't know. But you have those things. You have Zoom and other platforms for trials. You need to know how to share screens, get your exhibits. You need to know about your IT person. You have an IT person there who helps you exclusively. How about court reporters? You better have one there. You better order the court reporter. Don't be looking around on the first day of trial and go, whoops. I know hearing I know someone had the other day, they had 13 lawyers on, and guess what? None of them ordered a court reporter on the hearing. Thankfully, it was a kind of situation that the 13 lawyers didn't commit malpractice. Thank God for all of them. But I see Ted Mullis here. He is Mr. Popular because he's a great person. Number two, he gives coffee away. And number three, I'm opening it up to another 10 people on the Discovery notepads. If you want them, just send us to dougbeam at dougbeam.com. Complimentary 2-pack to each person who asks. Ginger, I'll let you do it with Ted, and then we're going to wrap it.
Yeah, absolutely. And I'm so excited that Ted is joining us today with HMR. Ted, we adore you. We know you come in and you do these coffee giveaways, but we just can't thank you enough, just for being so supportive and everybody that you work with. I know today you're giving away a brand new coffee, and I know you've already test tried it, so we'd love to know what you think of it. But it is a special blend. It'll be 4 bags of Ethiopia Yirgacheffe coffee. So what do you think of it? Does it taste good?
It does. So I've been drinking the Yirgacheffe coffee for years, and so I was really excited to find it. And this is just a new company. It's just a new set of coffee, and it tastes wonderful. I just had it this morning, and I'm still going, so it has to work.
So it works. Well, I know that the winner is going to be very pleased. So if you don't mind, please do the special announcements.
Yes, I'm really excited to announce it's Kristen Jones out of Houston, Texas, and she's with the Amaro law firm who presented last week. So maybe James will get some as well.
Congratulations, Kristen. Yeah, thank you so much, Ted. This is wonderful. And again, they're a great firm over there, and you're right. James did a great presentation last week, and we think the world of everybody that works over there. So, Kristen, you'll have to let James know and maybe share a little bit of coffee with him. But if not, don't worry about it. You can keep it for yourself.
Ginger, tomorrow we're going to learn how to use an IPVO, which is a great device to use at trial. Mark Lanier out of Houston, Texas, uses it exclusively instead of Elmo's and some other things that you use in the courtroom. Tom Grachik's going to demonstrate that for us tomorrow. So you might want to tune in, paralegals and lawyers, to see the latest on how that works. And that's tomorrow, right, Ginger?
Yep, it'll be tomorrow at 3:00 Eastern time. And we would love to see you guys back here. But I don't want you to leave just yet, because I actually have a wonderful announcement that I'd like to make. And I want everybody to join in with me in this special announcement, because I would like to wish Doug Beam, who just celebrated on Sunday his birthday. So Doug, happy birthday. And we love you so much. We appreciate everything that you do day in, day out. And we hope that this year is going to be the best year yet.
Thank
So
you.
happy birthday, Doug.
My
Happy
pleasure.
birthday.
I'm blessed to be a trial lawyer. And
Well,
thank you
you're
for that.
constantly,
My pleasure.
you're constantly doing so many wonderful things for all of us, your clients, your staff. I know that your paralegals think the world of you as well. So thank you again for all that you do. Thanks for being with us day in, day out. And again, I hope everybody joins us for the next few webinars that we have coming up. We are going to be doing more paralegal webinars as well.
Yes.
And Betsy, Nekeisha, you're part of the family, so I know you're coming back. We're going to have Danielle come back. We're going to have Georgia, Alonzo. We're very excited. And then eventually we're going to turn this into a live seminar for all of you once COVID kind of, goes away far out of view. And I think we're going to do it somewhere tropical. So just stay with us. And again, thank you everybody for being here. Thank you again to all of our amazing partners with HMR, Strategic, On Point, and Fast Funds. Could not do it without you. And then thank you to all of our viewers. We think the world of you guys too. So thank you.
Seek justice. See you tomorrow.
Bye, everybody. Thank you, Betsy, and thank you, Nekeisha.
Bye. Thank you.
Thank you.
Have a wonderful day, you guys. See you later, okay?
Bye-bye.